Okay, I'm back. I had to take care of a few things, but I'm back. And previously, I was reading Peter Navarro's Crouching Tiger, what China's militarism means for the world. So now I'm going to be reading Stephen Hawking's A Brief History of Time. That's the wrong book. That's the wrong book. That's not the right one. We got it wrong. It's not. No. let me make some corrections real quick. That's the wrong book. It's the wrong book. It's A Brief History of Time. What the hell is going on here? Hold on for a second. Wait a minute. Which book is that? Yeah, A Brief History of Time. Yeah. Yeah. Give me a second here, guys. I think that is the right one. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry. That is the right one. All right. Give me a second here. Give me 1 second, guys. Just want to make some corrections real quick. Give me 1 second here. Just want to make some corrections. I'm going to be reading Stephen Hawking's A Brief History of Time momentarily speaking. Guys, get the likes up, support the channel by sharing the video with your family, friends, and relatives. Give me 1 second here. Sorry for the inconvenience. I'm gonna get to it in a minute. Give me a second here. Make some corrections real quick. And I did like the earlier read as well. And please, if you have not, go over to the Chaotic Truth and hit the join button to join the book club. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready now. Sorry about that. I'm ready. Okay, let's get rid of this. There we go. Believe it or not, guys, I have not read this book before. I'm well aware of it, and I'm going to start reading it today. And I'm going to cam up today and do a live stream. This is Stephen Hawking's A Brief History of Time. The Wall Street Journal called it masterful. Time magazine said, even as he sits helpless in his wheelchair, his mind seems to soar ever more brilliantly across the vastness of space and time to unlock the secrets of the universe. I'm going to start off on chapter 1. Chapter 1 is titled Our Picture of the Universe. Our Picture of the Universe. Is the mic correct? Let's see if the mic is correct. Yes. Indubitably. Chapter 1, Our Picture of the Universe. A well known scientist, some say it was Bertrand Russell, once gave a public lecture on astronomy. He described how the Earth orbits around the sun and how the sun, in turn, orbits around the center of a vast collection of stars called our galaxy. At the end of the lecture, a little old lady at the back of the room got up and said, "What you have told us is rubbish. The world is really a flat plate supported on the back of a giant tortoise." The scientist gave a superior smile before replying, "What is the tortoise standing on?" "You are very clever, young man, very clever," said the old lady. "But it's turtles all the way down." Most people would find the picture of our universe as an infinite tower of tortoises rather ridiculous. But why do we think we know better? What do we know about the universe, and how do we know it? Where did the universe come from, and where is it going? Did the universe have a beginning? And if so, what happened before then? What is the nature of time? Will it ever come to an end? Can we go back in time? Recent breakthroughs in physics, made possible in part by fantastic new technologies, suggest answers to some of these long standing questions. Good morning to you, Humble. Someday these answers may seem as obvious to us as the Earth orbiting the sun, or perhaps as ridiculous as a tower of tortoises. Only time will tell. As long ago as 340 BC, the Greek philosopher Aristotle, in his book On the Heavens, was able to put forward two good arguments for believing that the earth was a round sphere than a flat plate. First, he realized that eclipses of the moon were caused by the earth coming between the sun and the moon. The earth's shadow on the moon was already round, or always round, excuse me, which would be true only if the earth was spherical. If the earth had been a flat disk, the shadow have been elongated, or would have been elongated and elliptical, unless the eclipse always occurred at a time when the sun was directly under the center of the disk. Second, the Greeks knew from their travels that the North Star appeared lower in the sky when viewed in the south than it did in the more northerly regions. Since the North Star lies over the North Pole, it appears to be directly above an observer at the North Pole, but to someone looking for the equator, it appears to lie just at the horizon. From the difference in the apparent position of the North Star in Egypt and Greece, Aristotle even quoted an estimate that the distance around the earth was 400,000 stadia. It is not known exactly what length a stadium was, but it may have been around 200 yards, which would make Aristotle's estimate about twice the currently accepted figure. The Greeks even had a third argument that the earth must be round. For why else does one first see the sails of a ship coming over the horizon and only later see the hull? Aristotle thought the earth was stationary and that the sun, the moon, the planets, and the stars moved in circular orbits about the earth. He believed this because he felt, for mystical reasons, that the earth was the center of the universe and that the circular motion was the most perfect. This idea was elaborated by Ptolemy in the 2nd century AD into a complete cosmological model. The earth stood at the center, surrounded by 8 spheres that carried the moon, the sun, and the stars, and the 5 planets known at the time: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. The planets themselves moved on smaller circles attached to their respective spheres in order to account for their rather complicated observed paths in the sky. The outermost sphere carried the so-called fixed stars, which always stayed in the same positions relative to each other, but which rotate together across the sky. What lay beyond the last sphere was never made very clear, but it certainly was not part of mankind's observable universe. Excuse me. Ptolemy's model provided a reasonably accurate system for predicting the positions of heavenly bodies in the sky. But in order to predict these positions correctly, Ptolemy had to make an assumption that the moon followed a path that sometimes brought it twice as close to the earth as at other times. And that meant that the earth ought sometimes to appear twice as big as at other times. Ptolemy recognized this flaw. But nevertheless, his model was generally, although not universally accepted. It was adopted by the Christian church as the picture of the universe that was in accordance with the scripture, for it had the great, changing pages, advantage that it left lots of room outside the sphere of fixed stars for heaven and hell. Give me 1 second, guys. I have to do something real quick. Give me 1 second. I just want to do something real quick. All right, give me 1 second. I just got to do something real quick, and I'm going to get right back into it. All right, there we go. Give me a second here. A simpler model, however, was proposed in 1514 by a Polish priest, Nicholas Copernicus. At first, perhaps for fear of being branded a heretic by the church, Copernicus circulated his model anonymously. His idea was that the sun was stationary at the center and that the earth and the planets moved in circular orbits around the sun. And he was correct. Nearly a half a century passed before this idea was taken seriously. Then two astronomers, the German Johannes Kepler and the Italian Galileo Galilei, started publicly to support the Copernicus theory, despite the fact that the orbits it predicted did not quite match the ones observed. The death blow to the Aristotelian Ptolemaic theory came in 1609. In that year, Galileo started observing the night sky with a telescope, which had just been invented. When he looked at the planet Jupiter, Galileo found that it was occupied by several small satellites or moons that orbited around it. This implied that everything did not have to orbit directly around the Earth, as Aristotle and Ptolemy had thought. It was, of course, still possible to believe that the Earth was stationary at the center of the universe, and that the moons of Jupiter moved on extremely complicated paths around the Earth. Given the appearance that they orbited Jupiter. However, Copernicus' theory was much simpler. At the time, Johannes Kepler had modified Copernicus' theory, suggesting that the planets moved not in circles, but in ellipses. The predictions now finally matched the observations. As far as Kepler was concerned, elliptical orbits were merely an ad hoc hypothesis, and a rather repugnant one at that, because ellipses were clearly less perfect than circles. Having discovered almost by accident that elliptical orbits fit the observations well, he cannot reconcile them with the idea that the planets were made to orbit the sun by magnetic forces. Excuse me for a minute. Yes, sir.
Hey, Chaotic.
How you doing, sir?
You know what's interesting? When you brought that book up the first time.
You talking about this one or
no? The Crouching Tiger. It's funny because there's another book. He wrote a second book, or it may be Crouching Tiger.
Death by China.
Does the beginning book talk about a spy? Does the beginning book tell a story of a spy?
This book, Crouching Tiger, no, it doesn't. No.
Okay.
No.
So no. I forgot what book I read, but it was something about tiger or something like that. But it talked about China, how much China's infiltrated the United States in terms of spy, like spies. Is it contained in there at all?
I haven't. I'm literally reading it in real time. I'm only on chapter 3. I haven't got to that part yet. Yeah.
And then I remember
straight now. But go ahead.
They kidnapped a couple people in Taiwan or something like that that were American, from what I remember. But I do remember glancing over it briefly. The thing about China is just they've never fought anybody and won. That's the only thing. But it doesn't mean. But I don't think that they like. It's funny because it's their culture. They don't like fighting. They like winning. And those are two completely different things, right?
Gotcha.
So, like, if you read The Art of War, the goal is to win without fighting.
Gotcha.
And so, you know, Sun Tzu came from China. And I think that they try to avoid conflict as much as possible. Like, they try to avoid attrition, right? Because I remember Sun Tzu said the worst thing you can do is, you know, besiege wall cities or take cities as a whole. Okay. If you remember things like, for example, you remember Hitler, right?
Yeah.
Hitler was too destructive towards infrastructure on the Eastern Front, which was why he lost. It wasn't because winter time in Russia, right? No, it was the fact that he was the Western Front. He could have won as well, but you know he stopped at Dunkirk, and the movie Dunkirk is just complete BS. The British Expeditionary Forces did not put up any major fight. It was the fact that the Germans stopped. But on the Eastern Front, destroying the infrastructure. So I haven't studied much about Chinese, like military as of recent, but they're not fighters and they're not warriors. I can't. Do you know of any great conflicts that they've won?
I do not. No.
Yeah, the closest they got to beating America destroyed itself in Korea, right? Okay. Because it was Truman. Truman did not want to use the nuclear bomb again, right? Which was stupid. Truman, I don't know if you know MacArthur. The only time China has ever posed a threat was when we were fighting Korea and we were beating Korea, right? And MacArthur had to stop because the Chinese were going to back up the North Koreans.
Yep.
And so MacArthur wanted to use nuclear bombs on the border to separate them for like 100 years. And the United States should have done it. But politics and Harry Truman, who's an idiot, by the way, relieved MacArthur, or MacArthur stepped down. Douglas MacArthur, United States' biggest mistake was not Douglas MacArthur understood what Asia was eventually going to become. And if you look at it, the United States has only been attacked in its homeland or on its soil by Asians. Technically, Saudi Arabia is Asia and Japan is also Asia.
Yeah.
And if you look at September the 11th, which are major attacks on our own soil, and you look at Pearl Harbor, these were both attacks carried out by Asian countries. And I think that MacArthur knew, right? MacArthur understood the Pacific, and this is what the United States, every general, whether it's, Erwin Romm, every leader, right? And this is funny about even white leaders, right?
Okay.
They never finish the job. They never finish. They get to 90%. They blow a 3-1 lead. How does Europe look at Europe right now? Even if you look at the Germans, how the hell do you have Britain cornered, right, all the way to the English Channel, and you stop? Like if the Germans were annihilating the English. They were. Like Winston Churchill is, but think about it, right? This is white, like I'm beating the guy up. Did you ever watch Cobra Kai?
I watched season 1. Yeah.
That's white. Like, do you remember? Oh, so you didn't see where he's beating him, and he lets up, and the guy he lets up almost kills him. And that's exactly what European nations do. I make the opposite claim of European nations. I think they're too humanitarian in war. With the exception of like the Soviets, those are the only people that I've ever seen. They don't let up. And that's it. Outside of that, most of the Western world is weak. Like United States, because MacArthur, and this is why I don't believe all these stories about older white people. Why did you not? If white people were that bad in the 50s, why didn't Truman let MacArthur split Korea and China up with nuclear? Even to this day, it would have been so effective. The nuclear fallout, they wouldn't have been able to cross over into Korea even to this day. Because he wanted to use like 28 nuclear. And think about even how humanitarian that is. Yeah. I don't necessarily want to blow them up. I just want to separate them. And it's just, I don't know. That's my opinion.
Do you feel like this comes from their history as, I don't know, like where in their history does this come from? Which empire? The Greeks, the Romans? We know the barbarians were individuals that probably would not have let up.
Yeah, but remember, the barbarians destroyed the Romans. Right. The Romans did the same shit. I don't know, maybe Rome. Maybe Rome is like.
Where do you think this sense of morality comes from? But go ahead.
I think it's Rome. I think it's people. The thing about white people, in my opinion, they get so high and then they want to get low again. Like I know that I explained this to a friend of mine the other day who was watching he was watching these videos of the hood, right? Yeah. And he was, you know, it's like, oh my God, like I see all these warning signs of like people, like you're talking about black people sitting around and drinking 40 ounces of shooting, and it looks really, really dangerous. And I told him, I said, listen, you do understand that was white people at first, right? That was the Irish, that was the Italian, and we're talking about a specific neighborhood in Kansas City. And I was like, that was the Irish, that were the Italians. When white people get poor, and when they start to lose, then crazy things happen. But it seems to me like when they win, that they just let up. In my opinion, most of them just let up. They just get soft when they get. And I don't know. Maybe it's something that can be said amongst all people. But yeah.
I've seen it on a small scale when white boys fight. Like they could fight anybody, you know, they could fight a black, white, and if they're winning, they say, "Are you done yet?"
Yeah.
But whereas other groups of people will pummel somebody damn near half to death.
Speaking of white boys putting hands, you see Jamar Charlo get smacked in his face by that white boy yesterday?
I did not. I didn't.
Bro, you have not seen that.
No, I haven't. I didn't.
Bro, Caleb Plant dazed. So Charlo is undefeated. Yeah, he smacked him so hard, like, and then he smacked him so hard. Charlo was like stunned. He didn't even immediately swing back or anything. And it was funny. It was funny about it is they try to jump him afterwards. I was absolutely shocked, to be honest with you. Are you seeing it?
I'm looking at it now. It's kind of grainy. I'm looking at it on TMZ. Okay, hold on. I don't know why it's not in. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it in 10.
Bro, you got to watch it on YouTube. It's like a short clip.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, man.
Who's the white boy that slapped him?
Caleb Plant. He's another boxer. He's lost his last two fights. He lost to Canelo. Do you watch boxing at all?
I do.
Boxing is my favorite sport, by the way.
I just haven't been following it lately, though. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my, bro! There's been almost like 10 fights at this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a black on black fight. So I mean, there's been literally like 10 of these. But it's crazy. The only person to put hands on somebody else is a white guy. Like all the other fighters have been getting into it, but they're like, "Oh, I'll fight you up." They just been talking. They just been running their mouth. This dude, he hit him. I've never seen a boxer hit like that in public, not do anything. And he's surrounded, and Caleb Plant walked out, and Caleb Plant was by himself.
Really?
Yes. And the thing about that's crazy, bro. Like that's now.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to fight now. But back to the cultural things, the cultural aspect. Khan Shiner, I think, said it's universal. It may be universal. I just think that when I look at a lot of nations' foreign policy and tolerance and things like this, because I got to be honest, right? For as much flack as people give them, I actually like Israel's foreign policy, right?
Okay.
They patrol their borders correctly.
Yeah.
They don't have any tolerance for nonsense. And that's from the countries. And if you threaten them, they will do something about it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that there's even been times, like, I like their technology, that Golden Dome thing, and I'm pretty sure we have something like that in the United States, but that's like an amazing technology. Also, their cybersecurity stuff is really advanced as well. Like, what Israel did to, like, the Iranian scientists, right? When Iran was trying to divide, like, you remember this, right? Like, they were, instead of attacking Iran, they were, like, annihilating. They were doing assassinations. They were basically assassinating their scientists instead of having to declare war, right? And that's that whole like kill one, save 1,000 mentality. But I may not, a lot of people give them flack, but I just wish the United States can emulate some of the things, like in terms of like Israel's foreign policy. You know what I mean? Like, stop being so humanitarian, be more of an isolationist at times, still participate in foreign trade. But yeah, bro, China is definitely, I can't lie. I don't. They deserve to. China's following all the correct steps, right? Okay. In order to build a country, you cannot allow freedom. In order to take a country that is completely in poverty and build it, like, think about this in your own life.
Go ahead.
There comes a point in time where the internal culture and value system will reflect externally. And you know that during certain times, you can't have tolerance for everything.
That is true.
And it was the same thing that we seen today in Fight Club today when we had the conversation about COVID. But on another note, I hope that you keep doing these things. I hope, are you going to keep reading this book? Because I will go through it. I will buy it and go through it.
Go through it. I'm reading Crouching Tiger. I'm reading Woke Inc. by Vivek Ramaswamy, and I'm also going to reading Red Handed right now.
I don't like Ramaswamy. You know, I don't like him. I can't. I don't. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it sounds like a Subway dish, but he won't be getting my vote. And I certainly hope that nobody in the Republican Party. I hope not. I just hope no one in the Republican Party chooses him as a vice president.
Really?
So, yeah, bro. Like,
I mean, you know, it's changing of the guard. He's a millennial. Something's, he's very wealthy, pro-America. But why
is he? Does he really reflect America? Not to me, does it?
You don't think he does? Is that because he's of Indian origin?
Is Ramaswamy an American name?
No, it's not. Should he change his name to make you feel more comfortable?
Would it? America is a process.
Yeah.
Like America is the largest fraternity. America is America-fy America. And people, whether you were the Irish or the Italians or Black, you had to pledge a process. And things are happening now where, some people are, what is that when they pledge after they graduate and they don't have to go through that process?
Grad chapter.
I'm not a fan of the grad chapter, sir.
Okay.
Is he a Christian? Has he accepted Christ?
No, he's openly Hindi.
Yeah, no, you're not getting my vote.
Really?
I'm sorry. No.
Okay.
That Christianity matters. Okay, I want America to that. Who's he married to?
A fellow Indian woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the last name? Okay, I don't understand. This doesn't reflect my values.
Okay.
I would prefer a Christian person. We've seen what dabbling in this can do. I think that he's the right-wing version of Barack Obama, to be honest with you.
He does
I think he's very hope and changes. And he said he didn't believe America was a hierarchy. Are you out of your, like, the thing with the mammy he debated, I don't like her either, but the fact that you two are even having a conversation just shows me how much America's failed. The fact that we live in a society where both of you have reached positions of power. And I don't believe in that. I believe in protectionism. I believe that the fact that he succeeded shows me that we're in trouble.
Really? You said that before. Why do you think that? I mean,
because if I have a team of people and somebody from off the street is performing better than my team, we have a problem because I care about more of I have loyalty. And that's the thing. America is not an idea. America is a group of people who have been forged through a process.
Okay.
I can't wear a Alpha Phi Alpha shirt and say I'm an alpha.
No.
I have to go through a process. I have to be vetted. And for me, I don't care. No, absolutely not. I'm sorry, bro. Hindi? No. Jesus Christ is the Son of God, bro. And at the end of the day, we need people with that belief in the positions of power. We need people. I don't want a separation of church and state. And I don't want people who remove their values from the positions of power that they're in. Okay, I want to see Christian, native-born Americans in this position. The fact that we have people in rural Ohio who are not reaching the levels that Vivek is reaching, that's a problem to me.
Yeah.
That's not a sign of success. It's a problem. And that's just my opinion, and I'm sorry. So, but anyway, sorry about the guy was back.
You're good. No, you're good.
To read some Richard Dawkins or something. No, I don't read atheists.
You don't read Richard? Okay, so you won't read a book by Richard Dawkins?
I mean, I'll read it, but I'll laugh at it. I mean, I can't. Okay. I mean, what kind of grown-ass man believes in atheism?
Okay. And why do you ask that? I mean, why do you believe that a man can't believe in the idea that nothing created something?
Because they can't, because they don't believe that themselves. The biggest evangelicals are atheists.
Okay.
They have to let the world know that they're atheists. They spread their gospel way more than Christianity does. Okay. They're not secure in themselves.
Okay.
Because if you were an atheist, then you wouldn't care about everybody else. Who shits on religion more than atheists? Who has to go out of their way to let everybody know they're like, seriously? Atheists are the spiritual versions of vegans. You know how you can't go like 3 minutes without somebody. I'm a vegan.
I'm a vegan, yeah.
And it's like,
I don't eat that.
Yeah, it's like what is it like do you remember In Living Color? It was like the insecure gay man or something like that. They had to go around letting everybody know he was gay. That's exactly what atheists are. And like and we saw today, most people have on Fight Club, most people have a problem with the church. Nobody wants to go and hear that they're wrong. Everybody hates coaching. Nobody wants accountability. So, I mean, yeah. But anyway, you guys can go back to reading your quote unquote atheists. So.
Oh, God.
Hey, any of y'all in the chat want to step up? We can go ahead and have this smoke with me. Come on, y'all in the chat. Don't just type now. I thought you atheists were brave.
All right, so all right, so I'll drop the link again if they want to call in and debate you, man. You know, you want me to do that?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna drop the link again if anybody wants to call in. I'll wait a few more minutes and I'm gonna get back to reading. Yeah.
How do you know that Jesus Christ exists, Khaled?
Faith.
Is faith all you have?
Well, I mean, there's also evidence that substantiates that he may have existed. Yeah.
Well,
a little bit more than faith, but there's also historical evidence, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why the church is failing, right? Because these idiots who are atheists, right? One thing that they're not is unprepared for an argument, right?
Okay.
They've been prepared through years and years and years of study, right? Whereas the church is supposed to be a school. It really is supposed to be an institution of learning, right? The church has not effectively given people what they need to spread their faith and also defend it versus idiots who call it into question. And that's a problem because, even if you look in the Bible, what did Paul say? We wrestle not against flesh and blood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that really is a part of, study to show thyself approved, those type of things. And when you really look at the life of Christ, Christ was always questioning arguments, right? If you look at Jesus's dealings with the Pharisees and the Sadducees, it was always a question of what is right and wrong, right? Or what is supposed to be the role of the church. So, yeah.
Okay. I don't think anybody. Go ahead.
What is asserted without evidence can also be dismissed without evidence. Well, I didn't say my beliefs were asserted without evidence. I don't know who you're saying that to, but we know you don't want the smoke, so it's fine.
Let me ask you a question. I'm looking at this slap again. Had he been slapped by Adrian Broner, would he have retaliated immediately?
Bro, I think so. I've watched it like 20 times, bro. Well, number one, I don't know if he would have let Adrian Broner. I don't think he thought a white guy would hit him.
Yeah,
and then I think he was a little shocked. Yeah. Right now, the thing about Plant is he tried that same shit with Canelo, bro. Canelo, that's the thing about Mexicans and how they're built, bro. They have it. They don't look like they don't look as strong as they are.
Yeah.
Right. Like
I remember that altercation between the two.
Yeah, bro. And Canelo damn near threw him off the stage. He swung at Canelo. Canelo ducked that shit, bro.
Yep.
And he swung at Canelo, and Canelo is smaller than Charlo is. And so I don't think he thought he was going to hit him like that. That's my opinion. But afterwards, Charlo's in the parking lot like, let me get my leg back. It's sad, bro. Charlo went out sad, bro. But the thing is this, the Charlo twins, and I don't know why this is, they've gotten into it with a lot of people.
They have.
And I'm curious about why. They're both very good boxers. Both of them are, now Now, Canelo's going to wash Charlo, right? Because Canelo, in my opinion, is one of the best boxers pound for pound right now, right? But he moved up in weight and got smashed by Dimitri. But Canelo's going to smash him. Even, it's funny because I remember another dude ran up on him, Daniel Jacobs, and Daniel Jacobs was by himself too. And Daniel Jacobs like laughed at him. So I don't understand why they keep getting into it with people. When I look at somebody like an Errol Spence or even Bud, right?
Yeah.
They're very classy, right?
Are.
Like, have you seen like they're like, it's, you know why it's different? Because they're both country. These are two country niggas, man. And country niggas don't talk. Like, they just don't. They don't run their mouth. They both like, Errol Spence is like, and so is Bud, Omaha, Nebraska. These are both some country ass niggas, brother. Somebody even said something about a fish fry after the boxing match or something like that. So I just got, these two are not going to talk like that. So, and I noticed that there has been, I don't know, with the Charlo twins, been a lot of them running their mouth. I don't know. Caleb Plant was bigger than Canelo, but not physically strong. Yeah, that's my point. Yeah. Picking and choosing on to validate Trevor. I don't know, bro. Like, I'm excited for boxing tonight. The thing about Floyd was like, I've never seen somebody that dominant in boxing for that many years, right?
Yeah.
Because boxing was not competitive unless it was when Mayweather was there. Like, nobody was really watching other fights like that. Nobody was really selling like that. Yeah. And when Mayweather came in, I mean, now that Mayweather's gone, we finally gotten to a point because we had Garcia and Davis. We got this fight tonight, and then we got Charlo and Canelo. And I think that's like a month from now. So we got 3 good fights in like the last 6 months. And so that hasn't happened since like Canelo. But I know they want to get back to the book. So sorry about that.
Before you go, real quick, what did you think about Adrian Broner apologizing to everybody the other day?
For what?
He apologized to Jay-Z. He apologized to the Charlo twins. He apologized to P. Diddy. I think he just hit rock bottom. I think he hit rock bottom. What'd you say?
He's been hit too many times in his head. I mean, of course, like his I've always thought he was a clown, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he's never been a good fighter. But I would like the time he called Floyd Mayweather out, like, bro, I don't understand what people's issue with like Floyd Mayweather is. Like, Floyd Mayweather could physically kill like 90% of the people out here. Yeah. And it's funny, there's like a podcast where this like 100 or 250 pound bodybuilder keeps talking to like Devin Haney, like, I think I could beat you up in a street fight. And I think Floyd Mayweather, it's the same thing with like Ronda Rousey. Like, bro, like, this guy would physically murder you. And when Broner called Floyd out, do you remember that?
I remember. It was absurd.
It's like,
he was ringside. Floyd was ringside when he did. I remember.
Yes, he was ringside. Yeah, and like, dude, he would kill you. Like, I don't understand what you're talking about, but Broner's pretty much washed it. He was a good fighter. He's had some good fights. You know, I just think that he ran. I don't know, man. Like, he has some good fights. I can't lie, but he's done. Nobody's watching him anymore.
You think it's easier to come back at 33 as a heavyweight or as a welterweight?
I don't know. It depends on the boxer.
I feel like if you're a heavyweight boxer, it'll be easier to come back because there's no. I gotta say this: the heavyweight division has really never been deep, in my opinion. I know a lot of pugilists will argue with me, but I never have thought that the heavyweight boxers were skillful. That's why you can come back at 50 and still box. But I feel like the welterweight division is so much depth to it.
You know who my 2 least favorite boxers were in the heavyweight division?
One of them is Mike Tyson,
and the other one's Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali has been gassed.
Some of the most overrated fighter I've ever seen.
He lost to an 8-0 boxer, so that's why when I argue with people.
And then if it wasn't for the George Foreman fight, he would not have gone down as like I do admit the George Foreman fight is probably one of the greatest fights of all time. That's what cemented his legacy because nobody expected him to win. He was an older guy. Foreman was the young and up and coming guy. And Foreman was knocking people out, bro. Foreman was like even like Deontay Wilder, except better, right? And he was just knocking people out. So Ali's best victory, but dude, Ken Norton broke him down, and they still like gave him the W. It's like I don't like Ali. I hate to say this, but I think Ali low key was like perpetuated by the media. I think Ali was like an industry plant. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was a good selling asset. He was a good asset to sell.
Yeah, but when I think of great heavyweights, I think of Evander Holyfield. I know he lost to. I think did he lose to Riddick Bowe? I have to go back and remember that. Holyfield, Lennox
Fury,
of course. Yeah. But I like Tyson Fury, and I like Deontay Wilder. Now Deontay Wilder is not a skillful boxer, but dude, if you even ask Tyson Fury will tell you that he's never been hit by anybody as hard as he has by Wilder. Yeah. So I still think that Wilder is better. But dude, like when people bring up Mike, I can't. Like the media loves these guys, and it's like, bro, they love Mike Tyson more than they love Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, they do. And it's like, why? Like Mike Tyson, Mike was he was a bad person, to be honest. He was dumb. He was just stupid. Like, bro, like Evander Holyfield washed his ass. Yeah. And even before he went to jail, Evander Holyfield would have washed him. Like, I don't understand why. Where's Evander Holyfield's podcast? Why does Mike Tyson get to be in all these movies? It's like Lennox Lewis. Yeah. No, it's just like, I think it's the imagery. They think he's this big, bad, like tough guy. Some people have an it factor when it comes to being in front of a camera, and some people don't. That's why we never hear of Karl Malone. Karl Malone was a beast. Yeah, he was a beast, but he doesn't have that it factor where people were tuned into one of his podcasts, but they're tuned into obviously a Jordan or Jordan don't talk like that though. You know what I mean? Jordan don't talk like, but like, Steven Jackson. Like who wants to hear you talk? Well, what about Clyde Drexler? You think Clyde Drexler will have a successful podcast? He was one of the greatest players. Bro, I'm talking about from Phi Slamma Jamma to playing on the rock. Bro, of course. But for me, that's why to me there is no question about Michael Jordan. You shouldn't question because Michael Jordan literally eclipsed so many good players. Like Patrick Ewing would be Patrick Ewing would, if there was no Jordan, who would stop Patrick Ewing? Or Hakeem Olajuwon at that? Mm-hmm. It's like these guys, Jordan literally stopped everybody else's shine. And it's not about what you can do for, like these players, bro, players at Jordan, man. Shawn Kemp was so explosive as a player, but it don't matter because you're going up against Jordan. Yep. And so, I don't know, bro. I agree. I think that the media does. Who's your favorite boxer? But my favorite boxer of all time is Floyd. My favorite is Floyd, Roy Jones, Julio Cesar Chavez, Roberto Duran. Yeah. And I'll give you Evander just because I like it. Evander's probably my favorite heavyweight. So yeah, it was Floyd, definitely Roy, and definitely Bernard Hopkins. B Hop was a beast, bro. B Hop, in his prime, B Hop was nobody, and he fought for a very long time. He did up until 50, and people clowned him for getting knocked out the ring. But I'm like, dude, he's 52 years old. I mean, what do you think, man? Yeah, bro. We got to do a boxing stream, bro. Especially after that slap today. Yeah, that was pretty bad. I'm over here watching it over and over. It's pretty bad, dude. Yeah. So, but bro, what book is this? A Brief History of Time? You a Stephen Hawking fan? Yeah. I am a Stephen Hawking fan, but I've never read this book, so I want to get through it by the end of the month. I want to actually get through it by next week, but I want to read it online. And obviously, I'm reading it offline. But yeah, I want to read it online, and I think it's a great damn book already. Yeah. What is it about? So he talks about the universe, man. I mean, come on, that's everything. So space, time, black holes. I mean, obviously, I think he's going to talk about the double slit theory in here. So dealing with quantum mechanics at that point. So yeah, I'm just going to read it. I'm on page 4 right now. So I'm just going to read it online. This is my first time reading it. Wow. Yeah. Let me see. Seven still says Drexler is an intellectual as well. Oh, okay. Khan Shonery said many people wouldn't consider Foreman fight Ali's best performance. The third Frazier fight was a better performance. Yeah, it was dope. Okay, I can see that. Khan Shonery says go ahead. But the fact that Frazier's little ass whooped you to begin with was crazy. Yeah. Like that shouldn't have happened. I'm sorry. Because look at what Foreman did to Frazier. Foreman almost killed Frazier. Like in the ring. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Bro, Foreman cocked him so hard. Frazier like jumped and then fell down. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. That's why people didn't think Ali would beat Foreman. Yeah.
Did you see Foreman hitting the heavy bags?
Yeah, of course.
Jeez.
No, but I will say that, bro. That Ali Foreman is the craziest thing I've. Because if you understand the odds on that, and then you understand like, if you, bro, even the fact. Hold on a second. The fact that Ali's old ass did not knock them out. That's what makes it crazy. This guy is undefeated. He's knocked everybody out. The fact that an old over-the-hill guy who was out of shape knocked you out, come on, man. That's almost unheard of, bro. Yeah. And the thing is this, bro, Ali was getting smashed. The whole, bro, Foreman was hitting Ali hard, bro. Foreman was literally like, I hate to say this, I think he was one of the reasons Ali got Parkinson's, bro. Yeah. Because he was like tagging him. And man, honestly, bro, the fact that, okay, so this is one thing I could give Ali, bro. Ali trolled Foreman so hard, he made Foreman give his life to God, bro. That's like a fact.
Yeah. Is that implied in the movie too?
Oh, I didn't watch the. No, I knew the story of George Foreman before. Mm-hmm. I knew, bro, there was a fight, it was the one fight George Foreman could never get over. And then on top of that, there was a fight afterwards. Like Foreman fought a celebrity fight one time where he fought like all of these guys who were like amateurs. And Ali went to the fight and started roasting George Foreman like ringside. Like mocking George Foreman ringside because some of these amateurs were like hitting him. And like the more that he was mocking George Foreman, there was one guy that George Foreman fought in that amateur fight that had lost 20 times. And Ali kept mocking Foreman. And the guy that lost 20 times was like landing hits on Foreman because he was so distracted with Ali. That's like a true story. Any boxing person should go look that up. But yeah, I think Ali's greatest work is Foreman. I'm sorry. You can give me Frazier, you can give me Ken Norton. Man, Ken Norton mollywopped him anyway. So.
Well, thanks, man. Let me read the rest of this, man. Well, let me finish it off, but thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see here. What the hell happened here? How you doing, Roller Skater Texas girl? Oh yeah, so let me get back to the book. Let's see here. Give me 1 second, guys. So the book goes on to say, I lost my part in the book. As far as Kepler was concerned, elliptical orbits were merely an ad hoc hypothesis, and rather repugnant one at that, because ellipses were clearly less perfect than circles. Having discovered almost by accident that elliptical orbits fit the observations well, he could not reconcile them with his idea that planets were made to orbit the sun by magnetic forces. An explanation was provided only much later, in 1687, when Sir Isaac Newton published his, and please forgive me, Philosophus Naturalis Principia Mathematica. Ooh, I butchered that one. Probably the most important single work ever. I tried to read that when I was a kid, by the way. I couldn't do it. Published in the Physical Sciences. In it, Isaac Newton, not only put forward a theory of how bodies move in space and time, but he also developed the complicated mathematics needed to analyze those motions. In addition, Newton postulated a law of universal gravitation according to which each body in the universe was attracted toward every other body by a force that was stronger the more massive the bodies and closer they were to each other. It was this same force that caused objects to fall to the ground. The story that Newton was inspired by an apple hitting his head is almost certainly an apocryphal. Oh my God. What kind of word is this? I don't even know this word. I should know this word. Wait a minute. Hold on for a second. Damn. See, this is the beauty of reading. And this is why you shouldn't stop reading, because you forget how to pronounce words. Apocryphal. That's the word. Damn. I'm over here looking like a first grader who can't read. Apocryphal. I lost my place. The story that Newton was inspired by hitting his head is almost certainly apocryphal. All Newton himself ever said was that the idea of gravity came to him as he sat in a contemplative mood and was occasioned by the fall of an apple. Newton went on to show that, according to his law, gravity causes the moon to move in an elliptical orbit around the Earth and causes the Earth and the planets to follow elliptical paths around the sun. The Copernican, model got rid of Ptolemy's celestial spheres, and with them, the idea that the universe had a natural boundary. Since fixed stars did not appear to change their position or positions apart from a rotation across the sky caused by the Earth spinning on its axis, it became natural to suppose that the fixed stars were objects like our sun, but very much farther away. Newton realized that, according to his theory of gravity, the stars should attract each other. So it seemed that they could not remain essentially motionless. Would they not fall all apart? Would they not fall together at the same time? In a letter in 1691 to Richard Bentley, another leading thinker of his day, Newton argued that this would indeed happen if there were only a finite number of stars distributed over a finite region of space. But he reasoned that if, on the other hand, there were an infinite number of stars distributed more or less uniformly over infinite space, this would not happen because there would not be any central point for them to fall. This argument is an instance of the pitfalls that you can encounter talking about infinity. An infinite universe. EAE says, I watched a few documentaries on Hawking's, and this guy literally never studied in college and yet passed every class, and people want to tell me intelligence isn't genetic. But he reasoned that if, on the other hand, there were an infinite number of stars distributed more or less uniformly over infinite space, this would not happen because there would not be any central point for them to fall to. This argument is an instance of the pitfalls that you can encounter talking about infinity. If an infinite universe, every point can be regarded as the center because every point has an infinite number of stars on each side of it. The correct approach, it was realized only much later, is to consider the finite situation in which the stars all fall in on each other, and then to ask how things change if one adds more stars roughly uniformly distributed outside this region. According to Newton's law, the extra stars would make no difference at all to the original ones on average. So the stars would fall in just as fast. We can add as many stars as we like, but they will still always collapse in on themselves. We now know it is impossible to have an infinite static model of the universe in which gravity is always attractive. Guys, I'm going to end here. I have to take care of a few things for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me to read Stephen Hawking, A Brief History of Time. Great damn book. Books that I've read in the past that pertain to science are Robert Zubrin's A Case for Mars. In this book, he talks about how man should prepare to colonize Mars. In fact, even as going as far as terraforming Mars to an Earth-like planet. Mars is Earth-like in terms of size. The size of Mars is similar. At one point in time, Mars did have a atmosphere, or it appears that it may have had a breathable atmosphere. But terraforming Mars would damn sure be lucrative and one of the greatest, if not the greatest, human achievement known to man. Imagine a planet with hundreds of millions of people on it, thus becoming Martians. I've read also Brian Greene's The Elegant Universe, great damn book, talking about space and time in the book. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys later. EAE says, which is why I prefer Neil deGrasse Tyson books. He breaks down complicated ideas for dummies like me to comprehend them more easily. Don't sell yourself too short. You know, I don't believe that Neil deGrasse Tyson is any more smarter than you are. Don't sell yourself too short on that. Brian Greene is indeed awesome. Thank you so much. He is indeed awesome. He is. But other than that, salute to you all. I would suggest that you guys go over to the Chaotic Truth and hit the join button and become members of the book club. And currently, again, I am reading Stephen Hawking's A Brief History of Time, and I'm also reading Peter Schweizer's Red Handed. I'm also reading Crouching Tiger by Peter Navarro, and also Woke Inc. by Vivek Ramaswamy. Other than that, guys, salute to you all. I'll see you guys a little bit later. Have a good one. Oh, Rico says that's probably why they are exploring space, because they're trying to find a new location for the inhabitants of Earth. Roller Skater Texas Girl says, sounds great, CT. Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't like listening to audiobooks when I run. I do like listening to podcasts, of course, but not audiobooks. I don't like listening to audiobooks. I think that it takes away the essence of knowledge when you listen to the audiobook. You know, read, get you the actual physical copy and read it. Get you the actual physical copy and read it. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Peace.